Yo, what up YouTube? This your boy Fred the Corp. Go ahead, subscribe, leave your comments, like, keep showing the love for you, boy. Today's video is obviously gonna be about fantasy football, NFL free agency, which was just crazy bananas. Basically there was 601 transactions in a 4-day period. So that's like, on the scale of 1 to 10, that's a 10 for transactions. The NFL lockout was for 131 days, I want to say, something like that, 131, 134. So I know you all are ready for some football. I am. Today I'm gonna go over the biggest free agent signings and where should you draft guys, and should you take any of the guys switching teams serious, or should you just do whatever, pick whoever you like depending on your favorite team. But here goes nothing. I'm gonna start off with Kevin Kolb going to the Cardinals. First of all, the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a hell of a deal, because for one, they got Antonio Cromartie, and they got a second-round pick from the Cardinals. The Eagles, hands down, the #1 team this offseason free agency. Just remarkable front office work, and they did it quiet. They just snuck along and no one saw it coming. But Kevin Kolb, obviously, he's in that terrible division with the Rams, 49ers. It's just a bad division. Seahawks won it last year with like 7 wins. He will do good because he has Larry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald will help him. So if you're looking to get Kevin Kolb all the way to about the 7th round, 8th round, you know what I'm saying, he's a good sleeper. Especially because the division he's playing, so he's gonna have a soft schedule. And Larry Fitzgerald, he is a tier 2 receiver. Tier 2, he's like 2nd round towards the end. 2nd round, 7, 8, 9, 10 pick. If you draft Fitzgerald anywhere before that, you're hurting your team. So I wouldn't do that. Let's talk about the Patriots. Albert Haynesworth and Chad Ochocinco going to the Patriots. Let's see. Patriots defense, never really that good of a fantasy option. A couple years they was. So Haynesworth haven't even practiced yet, so I wouldn't be too biggie on that. And Chad Ocho, well, he has Tom Brady, so you will need to take him into some consideration. And Chad is a burner. They say he lost some steps over the years, but I think Chad Ocho is still a pretty good, decent wide receiver. So I would say if you could get him in the 3rd round, the end of the 3rd round going towards the 4th, that'd be good. He's worth that, but he's not worth getting drafted anywhere before the second round. And Plexico Burress going to the Jets. I will not draft him. I will not draft him that early because he has Mark Sanchez as his quarterback. Sanchez still has a week on. Not that good. Not that good of a guy to be drafting that early. This guy. Do not draft Plexico Burress that high. I would take him in about. He's been in prison for a couple years, so he's gonna be rusty for about the first 3-4 games. Anyways, the whole NFL is rusty in the first 3 games, so you can imagine him catching back up. And practice does not catch up to game speed. Practice and game speed are 2 different things. If anybody who's ever played football, you know that. I played football in high school. There's a major difference. So I would definitely take Plexico Burress as he's a big guy, so he's gonna get some targets around the end zone. Anytime they get inside the 20-yard line, he's gonna be Mark Sanchez go-to guy. They got Santonio Holmes, but Santonio Holmes does not have the height advantage and arm length that Plexico Burress has. So I would say try to get him in the 4th round, Plexico. But he's not worth anything over the 4th round, anything before the 4th round because of his quarterback. Now, had he had Tom Brady or even Eli Manning, I would say take him maybe in the 3rd round, but don't. Okay, Marion Barber going to the Bears. Obviously he's going to be a backup, so he's not starting over Forte. So any of you Marion the Barbarian fans, do not expect for him to start over Matt Forte. That's not going to happen. He's going to be strictly a backup. So I will not draft Marion Barber anywhere before the 6th or 7th round. Don't do it. Alright. Now we're going to talk about the Eagles defense. Okay, the Eagles have 3 Pro Bowler cornerbacks, fantasy-wise. They have Nnamdi, Cromartie, and Asante Samuel. But they're going to trade Samuel, I think, this week. But as of right now, the Eagles defense is probably the #1 fantasy defense. I just go on a limb and say that. Vince Young going to the Eagles. Don't really buy too much into that. You know what I'm saying? Vince Young is Vince Young. The Eagles do have Michael Vick, who is injury prone. So Vick, I don't see Vick playing the full 16 games. So there will be at some point, at some time, Vince Young will start this year. But just take this in mind. Don't draft Vince Young before the 8th round. Get him after the 8th round and you'll be good. Joseph Addai, he resigns with the Colts. Obviously he's going to be their #1 running back. But you have Brown in the wings. So I think him and Brown are going to be sharing carries 50-50. So I think Joseph Addai is no longer a dominant fantasy option or a short pick like 2nd, 3rd round. He's no longer that guy. If you're looking to draft Joseph Addai, I would not draft him before the 5th round. Because there's too many other good players out there you can draft instead of drafting Joseph Addai. Somebody's in a timeshare. Anybody in fantasy football know that we don't like timeshares. We want our running back. We like how Steven Jackson gets all the carries. We like our running back to get every single touch, because every single thing matters in fantasy football. You could lose by your running back missing 1 carry or 1 catch. That could be the deciding factor between winning and losing a game. Let's talk about Sidney Rice going to the Seahawks. Now this is interesting because not only did the Seahawks get Sidney Rice, but they got Tarvaris Jackson. I would say that you will need to draft Sidney Rice. He's a must draft. Obviously he has good talent. He came back last year in 4 games and scored a lot of touchdowns, had some catches. So he still is a good player, wide receiver. The only thing that hurts him is his quarterback. Now let's hope Tarvaris Jackson and him, they got camaraderie because they both coming from the Vikings. So let's see if they could do something, if they could work out together this offseason. Well, offseason is only like 2 or 3 weeks. But hopefully in Minnesota they talk to each other and got some chemistry. But as of right now, I'm not taking Sidney Rice before the 3rd round. He's worth the 3rd round, I will admit that, because he's going to be their starter. I don't see Mike Williams getting more targets than Sidney Rice. So if Rice your man, go ahead and do that. Tarvaris Jackson, on the other hand, I'm not drafting him before the 7th round, because who knows, Charlie Whitehurst could look better in training, look better to the coaches when they put both of these guys on the field, and Whitehurst could be starting within 3 weeks. Those who like Kyle Orton, first of all, Kyle Orton is a phenomenal quarterback. He's definitely in the top 15 fantasy. The guy is a gunslinger. He throws the ball anybody who had him last year, and Brandon Lloyd, you loved life. Like, him and Brandon Lloyd was the ish last year. Like, I like Kyle Orton. He didn't get traded. He didn't get dropped. He's still going to be a Bronco. So Tim Tebow fans, you gotta wait another year. So, but definitely Kyle Orton and Brandon Lloyd, I would say get Kyle Orton, Get him in the 4th or the 5th round. I like Orton. I really do. Let's talk about Reggie Bush taking his talents to South Beach. No Ricky Williams, no Ronnie Brown. So if I was you, Reggie Bush will get more carries than he got in New Orleans. They will feature Reggie Bush, but can he hold up as a featured back? His body, he's had some surgeries. His body's not so susceptible to hard hits. So you got to be careful with Reggie Bush. He does score a lot of touchdowns though, and he's very fast. So he will get in the end zone a lot. So I say if you could get Reggie Bush, try to get him in the 4th. I mean 3rd is pushing it, because 3rd you still got some elite wide receivers in that 3rd round. So you got to be careful how you get Reggie Bush. But if you can get him in the 4th or the 5th, or if he just drops to like the 6th, I'll say get him as soon as you could, because he definitely will be featured, and you know he could take a 5-yard screen pass 60 yards down the field easy. So, and in fantasy, that's heaven. Alright, let's talk about Ryan Grant coming back. He didn't get cut, he didn't get released. He is the starter for Green Bay. Of course, he had that devastating injury, so I don't know exactly what you should do, but they do have Aaron Rodgers. And by the Packers having Aaron Rodgers, that means that teams are going to be focusing on the pass. And Ryan Grant, who's pretty much except for the injured part, his body, he's 100% healthy. So and he's very energized, and he wants a new contract and all this stuff. So I say if you could get Ryan Grant in like the 4th. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how the draft is going, you in a running back heavy draft, you may need to get him in the 3rd or the 4th. But he is a starter, so and he's gonna get majority of all the carries and everything. So don't be worried about that guy. Let's talk about Roy Williams going to the Bears. Don't really want to talk too long on this. You know, we all know Roy Williams. He's dropped passes here and there. But then again, though, the Bears, their wide receiver core is so slim pickings that he instantly becomes the #1 wide receiver on that team, which is sad to say, because probably pretty much on any other team, Roy Williams is the 2nd best wide receiver, 3rd best. But on the Bears, he's the #1 best wide receiver. He's a big target in the end zone. Jay Cutler's a gunslinger, so if you put them both together, he may do good. So I would say if you can get Roy Williams in the 5th or the 6th, get him in. I'd say get him in the 6th round. Don't take him anywhere before the 6th round. You're hurting your fantasy team. Don't do it. Darren Sproles replacing Reggie Bush in New Orleans. Basically, it's the same thing. Sproles is a little smaller. He's not as good as Reggie Bush. Let's make that. Reggie Bush is better than Sproles. But Sproles is fast. But it hurts his value that he's going to be used as a kick returner, punt returner, because he can get hurt at both positions. But though, if you want the Saints defense, you got Darren Sproles as your kick returner. So the Saints defense value jumps up a little bit because Sproles is fast. But Sproles as a running back, I wouldn't look in too much on getting him. Maybe he's going to be the featured 3rd down, change of pace back. Mark Ingram gets the first 2 downs, and Sproles come in on passing plays. So I say don't get Sproles before the 8th round. Felix Jones, yes. So Marion Barber's out. Felix Jones becomes the starter in Dallas, so I say his value skyrocketed. So if you're looking to get Felix Jones, I drafted him last year. He didn't fare too well for me with the Tannard choice and Barber in the mix and the whole Cowboys debacle, losing all those games so early in the season. But I say as of this year, if you could get Felix Jones in the 3rd, 4th, I say get him in the 4th. Depending on if your draft is running back heavy or not, try to get him. Try to wait on him, but if you could, it's gonna be worth the wait. He's very explosive, and I'm pretty sure he's working for a new contract. Jerry Jones is pissed off. Whole Cowboys, they need a good year. Oh yeah, Tony Romo's back. Let's talk about Vincent Jackson on the San Diego Chargers. He signed a 1 year.